What's going on, guys? We are working on the Model A rat rod, and I actually have something pretty neat, and I haven't really done it before. So last week I actually did these suicide doors, and I did the hinging for them and the bracketry and all that crap. But what I did not do was make a way to actually close the doors. So the plan is to actually make a mechanism that pulls the chain or pulls the pin. Let me show you over here. So I have a pin, and this will actually weld to this door. Right, let me turn the camera around. All right, so there's the inside of the door. This pin is actually going to be welded right around there to where you have to pull the pin to close the door, and it's going to automatically spring back into either the dash or a piece of angle, whatever I put on there. So by doing that, this is a very stiff spring. It's very, very hard to pull. So it should be able to keep the door locked and just out of the way of coming open going down the road. So, but I came up with an idea to use, and I got some old bicycles, and I plan on using the gears on the doors and everything. So I actually have it made, but I'm going to show you the drawing to show you how all this mechanism is actually going to work. So I'll draw something up and give you a better idea. Okay, so the pin will actually be welded right along here, and this is going to go on the outer skirt of the door. So whenever you open the door, this will be bolted on it. But the idea is to be able to take all of these gears and the wrench off the handle. I will be able to take all of that off, and I'm actually going to put a door panel behind it. So you're not going to see any of this mounting or anything. Only thing you're going to see is the gears, and there's a wrench, and the chain, of course. And by doing that, it's going to look pretty cool in my opinion. I mean, I really hope it does, because this was almost a pain to actually make. So yeah, let me get this figured out here. So this will be sitting right here, and the handle will be here. So actually, let me turn this around so you guys can see. And let me get the chain back on there, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now, you're gonna have a lot of tension trying to actually pull that pin back. So you got this lever, it's actually gonna be probably about right there. And whenever you pull the handle, it pulls that chain. And it doesn't take near as much force, because you're actually lessening the amount of force it takes to pull this by adding pulleys. So it should be fairly easy to pull that pin. Now, whenever this handle comes back up, the spring will pull that, but this handle has nothing to stop it. So I'm actually going to put a spring right here and here. That way it has constant pressure pulling back on the handle, but it's not very much enough to open the door. So I can put like a small carburetor spring or something like that. I'm sure I have a couple sitting around here. And I will add that. That way this has constant tension, and this chain won't pop off of the chain or the gear. Because whenever you let off of this, and then you go to yank it back, then it's popped off of the actual gear. And you don't want to have to keep messing with it and just trying to get everything to work. So by keeping that constant tension on that gear or this chain, I should be able to keep it all straight. So that's the idea. I got to drill some holes, and we're going to get this thing mounted to the door. And I'll find a spring for this, and we'll get the pin situated and add a piece on the inside of the door jamb here to actually go in for the pin, so that the pin can actually go into. So Pretty neat though. I mean, it's very simple, and when it's done, it should look pretty cool. But anyways, that's what this is. I gotta say, this turned out way better than I expected. I know I wanted a bunch of different gears and everything else like that, but the fact is those hinges are probably not made for holding up something like this, and I really don't want this door sagging because of the amount of weight. So just having these 2 gears on here, I mean, it works perfect. So I'll show you. Hardly any pressure at all. I mean, you gotta force it, don't get me wrong, but it's not bad whatsoever, and it's in place. Now you can't go too far this way and then the chain pop off, but that's what I was talking about. That's why I got these springs on here, so it keeps tension on it. And then just open the door, and then you gotta grab the door, hold the handle, and then she's back into place. So that turned out sweet. I absolutely love that. Only bad thing is we have to do it to this side. So, which it won't be too bad now because I actually haven't made. The thought process was a lot more harder than it should have been, and I made it more difficult. But the end result is freaking sweet. I absolutely love it. So, cool deal on that. I'm going to do the door panels and all that behind this. I really don't know what I'm going to use yet, but we'll figure that out come time. So, anyways, yeah, it turned out badass. All right, guys. I'm working on door panels today. So, I still haven't got the passenger side mechanism done. I haven't even started it, actually. But I do have the driver's side done. You guys saw that. It's mounted up. And now that it's mounted, I'm actually able to see where I need to put the holes and everything else like that. So we are going to measure the inside of this door, and then I guess some old scrap wood we're going to use as door panels. So I'll show you what's going on. All right, so I have a measurement from basically here to the bottom there, and we're going to bolt it or just texture it, whichever one. And whenever I do that though, I need to pop all these gears off, the wrench, and I'll take the chain off of this hinge here, or this pin here, and then we'll get the door panel on there, mark the holes, drill the holes out, and then put all the gearing and all the chain and all that crap back on. So I already did get a measurement. Actually, it is 25 tall and 25 wide, so it's pretty square. And there's the wood there. I'm about to cut it out, but let me get this closed real quick. Super simple, nothing to her. So anyways, so I got all this. I'm about to cut it out here real quick, and then I'll show you the material that we got going on. Okay, so I got material. Now I got a couple different designs that I wanted to do on this. And through this process, you guys are going to understand that I am not an upholstery guy. Nor am I a welder, nor am I a painter, and nor do I really know what I'm doing half of the time. Actually, a lot more than half the time. Actually, I think I warned you guys, 96% of the time I don't know what I'm doing. So, anyway, this is going to be the material that we cover it with. I got 6 yards for this crap, so I can do the back too whenever we get to it. Well, got the door panel in, and it looks decent. I mean, it needs a little bit more, but thinking maybe a pocket in the door to keep crap in. And if I do that, I might make it out of a darker material, or if I just find something like an old pouch or something, I may just add it onto this. But that can come later. I'll let that just show up. I mean, I'm not looking for anything right now. So, but it does need a little bit more character. But that can come later on. It does look pretty good though. I'll show you what we got. So it's got a real clean look. I didn't really want to go with the black leather because to me it just looks like a normal door at that point. So I went with the, I really don't even know what this is. Kind of like a lightish brown desert color almost. But I do love how the gears are exposed. I mean, that just, it is sweet. So I think it turned out really good. Next is that side. So now the seats are not mounted. That'll be taken care of later on. Probably won't actually mount those until this body is on a frame because I need to do crap underneath the vehicle. Whether that be take out this cross member for a transmission or whatever, I don't know yet. So those are just kind of sitting in there. I kind of want to get an idea what they look like. So, but this turned out really good. I do like it. And I'll get the back panels and the other door done eventually. But I just wanted to get an idea what this looked like, and it turned out sweet. So, what's up, guys? Just got off work and got to the house, hopping out of the truck. We're gonna start busting down on this thing. Driver's side, it's good. Here's the side for the passenger. So, I actually gotta get this thing bolted up, and I'll get it lined up on the door, and hopefully get this side working just as good as that side is. That driver's side is perfect, so we're gonna try and do the same exact thing on the passenger side. Hopefully. Okay, this side's welded, lined up with the door jamb, and it works the same. So, we'll close this door, see if everything still works right. Let me move you guys inside the cab here, where you can see. Get everything out of the way. Hell yeah. That looks freaking great. So, these doors are shut. Everything's working like it should. Super, super cool. So, now, I'm going to take all this crap back off and go ahead and do the door panels. And I actually cut the back pieces too. So I'm going to lay those together, get that done, and hopefully button everything up and have door panels, working door latches, and functional suicide doors. So what's going on, guys? Let's see, what is today? Today is Wednesday. And after messing with the interior and everything, I was actually just sitting in this car last night trying to figure out what I want to do as far as attaching the dash and the harnesses. So I plan on putting a 4 or 5 point harness in each one of the seats. So I was trying to figure out what I want to do on that. And the best way to do that would be to run bars throughout the car. Now, especially on the seat support, and then right behind the seat, I'll have a bar come across, and that will actually attach to the seat belts. Now, as far as the tubing, I found some. I paid $25, no, 25 cents a pound at the scrapyard. So I got a hell of a deal on it. I'll show you here. So this isn't no, it's probably 10-foot sticks. I got 5 of these 10-foot sticks. And it's not, it's not extremely thick. But I figure if I have enough support in these, that it should be okay. So the only dilemma is I can actually cut these in a bunch of different pieces and weld them together with my 110 volt flux core welder. Or I can bend them. But the only issue is I don't have a bender, a pipe bender, or a tube bender, whatever the hell you guys call it. I don't even know the name of it because that's a whole different tax bracket. So I gotta do things cheap, and I gotta figure out a way to do it. So I kind of had a thought in my head on what I can make it out of. And I was looking around and crap like that. Turns out I still have a couple rims off of this Model A. So there's one. One of these I want to hang up in the garage, and then the other one was actually just going to be scrapped. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to take a small piece of angle and I'm going to weld it in here inside this wheel. And what that will allow me to do is actually make this stationary to where it doesn't move, and I'll stick the pipe in and actually bend it to the curvature of this wheel. Now, by doing it on a round surface, you're not going to kink the pipe, and it's not going to crush the pipe. What it should do is lay out evenly along this wheel. That's what I'm hoping. So all this is being built in my head, and all I need to do is apply it. So that's what I'm going to do. You guys can see whether or not if I know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, here's what's going on. So, got that bar in, or that bar's done, along with that one. And I have another bar that's right there. And that one is actually going to go straight across the back of the body. And then I'm going to ground down the corners, or the ends of those. And that's going to sit right on top of this bar. And I'm going to weld it in place. And then it's going to weld to the visor. So that way I'll have some more structural support to go from the top across, and then this will be a lot less flimsy because I'll be able to put tabs on it and connect this to those bars. So this is really just kind of solidifying the body. And then I need to figure out the seatbelt bars. I am going to use a little bit thicker material, but I'll get to that whenever the body's actually on the car, and that's going to be towards the end. But right now I'm just kind of worried about structural of the car, and hell, it's going to look like it has a roll cage in it, so ought to be pretty cool. Okay, I did not video putting all this crap in because there's absolutely zero room in here, and as much as I'm moving around, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So, but I do got the bars. There's Eli too. He's looking for frames. But I got the main bar coming across here. It's connected to the visor. Now, with this being connected to the visor, I'm actually going to run another pipe down and probably go straight down to the body up here. And then I'll just do some MacGyver in there, probably attach it to the body, and then bolt it to the frame. I'm not too sure on that one yet, so I'm going to wait on that. But this bar is in, goes all the way back, 90s down to the bottom, and I have a crossbar that's going across, and it is welded to the fender mounts. So it's actually got some thicker steel, and it's welded there. And then I have another crossbar that is just kind of stiffening that up. And it's pretty solid. So this thing shouldn't hardly go anywhere. Now, I think what I'll end up doing the next couple days, I don't know if it'll be this video or not, but I need to bring bars down here and attach them to this part of the body there on both sides, run a couple bars across, and then that's where the seats are actually going to sit, is right here. Right there, I'm not too sure what I want to do yet. I don't know if I want to put a gas tank or if I want to put all the electrical. I really don't know yet. But the main idea is to get the body straight and very, very stiff. That way, whenever I do put it on the frame, this body has zero chance of really moving. So it should stay pretty solid. So I might just do those parts, and then next week, I'll hopefully get this thing buttoned up on a frame just to see what it looks like and kind of go from there. So I'll start cracking on this thing whenever I can, but tomorrow we're going to go get the frame. So I won't be working on this thing at all. So anyways, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Today's Friday. Thankfully, it's been a very long 2 days, actually. Yesterday, me and Dakota loaded up, and we went and got the frame. Now, this thing was in Eagle Rock, Missouri, like I said, and it was a drive. It sucked. Mainly for the fact is because I was tired, and when we got out there, it was dark. So I couldn't really see what was going on with this frame until I seen it today. And, you know, it could be worse. But this thing is in pretty bad shape. So I don't know if it's a couple frames pieced together or I don't know. So I'll show you what's going on. But last night, like I said, we drug it up on the trailer. It's pitch black outside. Traded in some tools, and I actually dropped the trailer off at Timmy's last night, and then we just came home because got home around midnight, had to get up about 3:55 to get up, get ready for work. So I got a solid 3.5 hours of sleep. And today I went and picked up the trailer after work and trying to get this thing unloaded. Now, I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so these wheels and everything, it was actually only sitting on the wheels last night, and the front was locked up. So it's got disc brakes back here. Now, I don't know if this dude homemade the rims or what. Absolute garbage. So these right here were actually catching on the caliper, so the front wheels were locked up. I couldn't even turn them. So I got to scrapyard today, and I found these rims, both of these wheels and tires. I paid $30 for. And it'll make a good roller. But I didn't realize this is a big bore, 5 on 5.5. So I took my grinder, cut this out, and this ought to make a good roller wheel. So got that on. These wheels do roll, and the idea is to go ahead and unload it and see if I can find some wheels and tires for the back. That way I can roll it in and out and everything. But this is a very short wheelbase thing. I mean, it is going to be very short. Definitely going to have to stretch it. So now the idea is all this goobered up mess up here. I mean, it's disgusting. So I don't know if these were motor mounts or what this guy had going. These are coming off. I mean, I really do got to strip this frame basically down to back to steel, get this thing welded up nice. And what I'll probably end up doing is plating the back of this frame, make it a little bit more solid. And I am going to go ahead and put a plate over this too. That way I can seal all that up. I mean, I'll weld as much as I can and then seal it up. But it is just goobered up here. It does not look good. So, got a little bit of work to do there. These springs came out of a 70s model Jeep. Or the front end and the rear end did. They came out of a, I believe he said a 76 model. So I'll get that figured out, because right there it's actually rubbing on the springs. Which, that might take the load off whenever I do have a load on the actual frame. I'm not 100% sure. It's going to be trial and error on this thing. The shock mounts will be lifted up probably a foot to foot and a half maybe. I'd say 12 to 16 inches. And I'm hoping I can find some big coilovers, stick those on there, look a little bit better. And same thing with the rear. We're going to leave those lower though, and I'll find some coiled shocks back there. But now the frame, I believe I'm going to have to split right here in the middle. I'll probably see it. I'm going to do a little bit of research, see one of the best ways to do that. You know, I have never chopped a frame and lengthened it or shortened it or anything. So I'll figure out a good way to do that, and we are going to stretch that frame probably 2 to 3 feet, depending on the measurements whenever I get the wheels and tires on compared to that body. So we will take care of that whenever I get the wheels and everything on, and this is sitting on the ground. So, like I said, this thing is, it's not terrible to a lot of people, but the idea with getting a frame and not building one is to have the safety and just kind of have a good head start on it. And we don't have that whatsoever. It's pretty rough up here. So, something I can get figured out. I mean, we'll get taken care of and stuff, but really should have looked this thing over better. We're gonna work with what we got. You know, we almost got a 100-year-old car. Might as well deal with the frame too. So, anyways, I'm gonna get this thing unloaded. Well, found some wheels, and only bad part is I got to dismount them and mount them. I got some tire bars doing that, and I'm used to semi tires. They're a lot easier than these car tires. Luckily, I've only had 3 minor heart attacks, so we're gonna get these things mounted up. So this thing is it's kind of cute. Real short wheelbase. I bet that was a rough riding sucker. Anyways, so that needs to go on that. That'll be interesting. So this axle is actually not wide enough for the body. So, I'm trying to mount this body onto this frame. It's actually going to be sitting on the tires. So, either I go with an offset and put spacers on it also, because I think I'm going to need probably 4.5, 5 inches on each side of the axle. Which is fine, it's not that big of a deal, but I'm also at a dilemma whether or not I want to change that and that. If I do that, then I have a wider wheelbase, not wheelbase, but well, yeah, width. And it'll look a lot wider stands. So I could do that. Or just leave the axles in it that it has and just do the offset wheels. So, I don't know. I think one of the big things is I want to set this body on there regardless, whether or not it sits on the tires or not. I need to figure out a length on adding to the frame. So, once I am able to actually spread that frame and lengthen it, then I will be able to clean it up, get it buttoned up to where I can actually set the body on here and leave it. So once it's on there, I'll figure out where body mounts can go. I'll figure out the width, or not the width, but the length, and figure out where the engine placement is going to be. So I can do quite a bit more once that body is able to sit on this chassis. So that's the next step. None of that is going to get done until next week. I'm completely wiped out, tired. And this weekend, I think we're just going to take it easy. So, yeah. I think the next thing that I'll actually do, though, is I want to finish up the cage on the inside of the car. That way the body is sturdy, and whenever we do lift it, it's not going to be an issue. So I'll finish up the cage, and then we will get placement on the frame. So that is the next step. Other than that, I know this is kind of a long video, but it turned out pretty cool, I think. The interior is badass. I love the door latches. And this frame, it's kind of a bust, but we'll make it in the gold. So I'm still going for safety. I want this thing to be able to go down the road. So how we do that, we'll just figure it out as we go. I can sit here and tell you all the things I want to do, but I guarantee you in 12 hours it's going to change. So we'll get that part figured out. Until then, I appreciate you guys watching, and see what we can get into next. So y'all take it easy. Have a good weekend. I'll catch you next time.